Cost of living in 2024. The average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in a city is $1,800, or outside the city for $1,200. On average, monthly grocery costs for one person is $500. The average cost of a house is around $500,000. The average annual salary for one is $55,000 a year, with the minimum wage being $7.25. Gas prices are between $3.50 and $5, with a new car costing on average $44,000. A foot long from Subway, with less ratios, is $15 per. The average cost for health insurance is about $500 a month. A monthly gym membership averages $40, while a movie ticket costs $12. College tuition fees for public universities average $12,000 per year for in-state students and $25,000 for out-of-state students. Full-time daycare for one child averages $1,200 per month. On average, people spend around $200 per month on clothing and $75 on personal care items. Sad to see we can't afford anything anymore. Cost of living in
Shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Kakadash. I'm allowed to give double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. Those in his gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Yep, this is just another lesson through the Spirit, going into the cost. It says the cost of living in 2024. As we know that since the time of the pandemic begun, roughly in 2020, we saw the fall of global markets. We saw the increasing of inflation. We saw house prices skyrocket. We've seen real estate bubbles. We've seen bear markets. We've seen all types of shit, to the point I remember the first year they were literally shutting down venues, bars, restaurants. Every year you had to be 6 feet social. I mean, a lot of people lost money and wealth and financial stability based on a fucking a poorly generated lie. As facts have come out about this guy, Dr. F, that he's made up the whole 6 feet distancing. He's made it all up, meaning that you go to the movie theater. I remember when we was going to see movies back in 2020, and you try to buy the tickets, they'll have like every other seat X'd out. You know what I'm saying? Because they were really getting in the minds of people. But that led to bear markets, okay, to devastating, just the economy totally devastated, which the economy was already bad. We were already in a retail crisis prior to this thing, but this just added insult to injury. But this video, man, it tells the tale, because shit, I remember back in the day, you know, when I was living in Chicago, I don't know about anywhere else, but Subway, they had $5 footlongs, and they had a certain special you get every single day. Now you go to Subway, 2 sandwiches around your ass, $25, man. You know, the cost of college, I remember tuition was like fucking like $4,000 a semester. Now you're paying $12,000 a semester. That's crazy. And if you live out of state, you can add another couple thousand on top of that. The average home, like it says, going for $500,000. I mean, people paid 96. I say people didn't pay, what? Let's just say a house that could be worth really, a lot of these houses ain't really worth no more than 80, 90 bands. Let's put it to you that way. I remember back in the day, those brownstone homes like they have in Chicago and they have in like New York, those beautiful granite homes, the plushest brownstone buildings and so forth. Those houses was going for $40,000, $50,000, man. You know, that's how much they were worth back then. But now a brownstone home around your ass, $300,000, $400,000. You know, like I was talking to my sister over the weekend. She was talking about selling her house. And I'm like, why you want to sell it? It's because she can't afford to keep up with the fucking price, man. You know, and she's a single woman, you know. So I just like, you know, that's the result of this wicked economy. You know, this is how Esau Edom decided to do it, because one thing they want to do, they want to collapse the economy. They want to break everything down. They want to bring in a digital infrastructure. Okay, and if you pay attention to this video, minimum wage $7.25 an hour, which honestly speaking, minimum wage here in Kansas City is like $12, $11, $12. You know, you can get up to $15 an hour working at a restaurant. But I remember $15 an hour was like making $20-something an hour back in 2014. You had a $15 an hour job here in Kansas City back in 2012, 2014, 2015. You was considered doing good because rent prices in this part of the country was fairly cheap. Shit, I was telling brothers, man, you know, that my first 1-bedroom apartment since I moved to this fucking shithole, man. There's one thing about when you from a different place, like being from Chicago, it makes you hate the people here because these people are just fucking just trash, man. You know, they're not friendly, they're not open, they're not really inviting. You know what I'm saying? But when you go to different places, they're, you know, the people is just more friendlier. They're just more inviting. People just have more of a, you know, people just have more hospitality. But when you come to a slower city like this, and don't get it twisted, KC is not a bad place to live. I mean, it's okay to start a family here. And I mean, you got decent people, I won't say that, and it is things to do, but when you come from a city like Chicago or New York, it's like night and day. It's like, how do you adjust to the people? You know what I'm saying? But overall, living here was fairly cheap. Now, shit, it's expensive. Shit, to live in Kansas City, you're gonna need money. You know, fucking studio apartment, $800. One bedroom apartment, $1,200. And they're building everything up and they're pushing people out and they want to bring those, what do you call those people? Those, like they call it a migration exodus or some shit. When people move from one place to the next, you got a mass exodus out of California and people are going to places like Texas. You know, they're going to places like Texas, Arizona, you know, them southern states. Because if you can work remote from California and you making a good salary, then it ain't nothing for you to live in Texas or Arizona. Is fairly cheap compared to what it is to live in Cali. So Kansas City wants to attract a lot of that revenue here. Because they're like, wait a minute, man, if we can get people from Cali or New York or Chicago to move to Kansas City where it's fairly cheaper than those places, then we can capitalize on the economy. Because believe it or not, the economy in Kansas City is really not bad at all. It's like, you know, other places are just fucked up. But this city has a lot of money. It's a lot of old money in KC. And what they don't tell you, a lot of rich corporations have gotten a start here. You know, like a lot of the, like I believe, what is that, Applebee's, if I'm not mistaken. You have the Oppenheimer building here. You have a lot of places, Honeywell, that got started up here in Missouri or Kansas. And, you know, they've branched out, you know. So now, fast forward into the future, this place it's some money here. Excuse me, Slovakia. And they're steady building up. But see, all that's going to come to an abrupt halt because I'm realizing, like, with all the real estate they're doing here, they're building up all these stadiums to be tourist friendly. And they're pricing people out that live here. But the people that they want to attract, they're not going to be able to afford the rent either because eventually they're just going to be a halt in the economy. Okay, like it says, the average movie ticket is $12. I remember going to the movie theaters paying $4.50 for a movie ticket. Yeah, candy was like $3-4. You know, the concessions were always expensive, but that's how movie theaters make their money, off concessions. They don't make their money off regular movies unless it's like a big blockbuster flick. But even then, they got to break bread with the production company. So movie theaters take a hit. You know, if they ain't selling them hot dogs and nachos and popcorn, they'll take a hit. This is why a lot of AMCs are, shit, I think the CEO or AMC had to fucking file bankruptcy during the time of the pandemic because they lost a lot of money. You see, but nonetheless, this is nothing but a society that's dying, and eventually this cancer is going to spread to all America, which it is. You know, like I said, here in fucking KC, a one-bedroom apartment in Kansas City, downtown, that shit going to run you $1,800. You know? So, yeah. In them times. All right? So, anyway, this is the book of Revelation 6. And I'm going to start at verses 5. It says, "And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Which those balances represents, like when you go into our captivity, when we had those, they call not feathers of iron, but they're called yoke of iron. They almost resemble balances. Okay, but it says, Come and see, and I beheld, and lo, a black horse, which black represents death. It says, And he sat on him that had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of four beasts saying, A measure of wheat for a penny, because when you go into that word penny, it goes into the denarius, which is the Roman currency, okay, which was a equivalent day's currency, you know, a penny, so to speak. And in the modern day, Roman denarius, or denarius is what they call is the modern day dollar, which is a fiat currency. This is why America is in the rat race to establish a global digital currency, because they're running out of time because the dollar is through. I believe last week sometime, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that I believe like some standard of the dollar expired. I forgot what it was, but I believe something, some country or something, I can't recall. But basically, they ain't dealing with the dollar no more. And we know come here at times in October, allegedly that BRICS is gonna pretty much cut off America, or they're gonna stop using these particular fiat currencies, and they're gonna deal with their own currency. So that's gonna hurt America in in the short term, because shit, hyperinflation is soon to set in, which will bring in chaos, which will bring in famine, pestilence, and the list goes on. So this shit is getting ready to really fall. But it says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou hurt not the oil and the wine, okay? And the oil and the wine represents this truth, okay? But it says 3 measures of barley for a penny. Yeah, because your dollar does not have the purchasing power it once did. You know, back in the day, you buy 4 bags of potato chips for $1. Now, 2 bags of potato chips cost your ass $2. You know, and the quality is getting worse. You know, they have stagflation, like with potato chip bags. It's fucking 40% air, 60% chips. But back in the day, you had the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule. You see? So, yeah, America is dying out. It's a slow death, as we see CDR circling the drain. What is it? Circling CTD, or circling the drain. You know, everybody's being priced out. And I'm noticing that my water bill is going up. I'm like, wait a minute, why is my bill going up every month? I use the same amount of water every month. And why am I paying a fucking water bill anyway? You know, but I realized that my bills are going up, man. So this is why I'm in business to find another place. Lord's will. Hopefully soon, you know. But regardless of that, this thing is crashing. You know, like it says, the average salary is $55,000 a year. That ain't no good salary, especially in this economy. You need to be making $60, $70 an hour consistently in order for you to live somewhat comfortable here, or just to get by. You know. Next precept. This is the book of Sirach 4, and you can blame this devil for that. Okay, everything that Esau has done. He has done it systematically to totally destroy people. And so they can come under this New World Order, because at the end of the day, the New World Order will be established through establishing the micro CHIP. This is why he's trying to price everything out to get the ultimate control. So like mom and pop shops and businesses, those are going to be non-existent when Esau sets up his New World Order. Okay, you ain't going to have Granddaddy Pete's and Grandma May's hot dogs and baked cookies and brownies, man. They're doing away with that. You see, they want all corporations, Walmart, you know, Amazon. They want these major corporations that's pretty much gonna parent smaller umbrella companies, so therefore they can have the mass profit over these small businesses. You know, like McDonald's would be around, Taco Bell, Burger King, you know, bullshit like that. But they want to do away with the Harold's, probably own shit, Harold's Chickens and stuff like that, or unless they can franchise them out. And usually when they franchise out like mom and pop shops, or something that's got started off an individual basis, usually the quality of it goes down once corporations get involved in it, because they cut corners and they want to maximize their profits. So therefore they will cut costs. You know, like back in the day, you eat at Wendy's. Wendy's have always been franchised, but Wendy's back in the 60s is not the same Wendy's today. Even Wendy's back in the 90s is not the same Wendy's. I remember getting a hamburger back at Wendy's in the early 90s, and they were big hamburgers. They were real beef. You know what I'm saying? You can taste the difference. Versus if you eat this bullshit today, it look like fucking horse meat, man. Okay, same thing with the Big Mac. The Big Mac ain't the same Big Mac it was back in 1994. You know, this is something totally different, even though the shit wasn't good for you back then. But at least you were getting somewhat of some type of quality versus the bullshit you eating today. I could say you was able to get somewhat of a real hamburger from McDonald's back in them days, back in the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. You know, they wasn't putting all that shit in there. Though it was not still the best, but you get what I'm saying. But it says here, my son, defraud not the poor of his living. And when you defraud somebody, meaning that you're cheating them, okay, or you playing them, like paying rent, right? Paying rent, whether you paying rent or you own a mortgage, it's the same goddamn thing. Okay, at the end of the day, you giving your money to somebody, some investors or some rich Edomite, some Amalekite,
and all your money goes down the drain. Because I'm noticing with a lot of house owners as well, their rents are going up, man. Okay, these are homeowners that's supposed to be locked into a fixed rate based on market influctions. The market goes down, then your rent's supposed to go down. If it goes up, then it may go up a bit to meet market rates. But then you got people like senior citizens that's supposed to be on a fixed rate no matter what happens in the economy. You can have a 25% skyrocketing interest. Your mortgage is supposed to be the same, but Esau increases that shit because they want to buy you out. And this is why a lot of times those of you that own houses, you got people calling you day by day. Sometimes people will come and knock on your door and they ask if you're interested in selling your house, man. You know, if you don't know better, you will sell it for more than what it's worth. I mean, for less than what it's worth. You know, I feel like those of you that own houses, you should try to get as much money out of it as possible. If you know that you bought your house for $125,000, sell that motherfucker for $250,000, $300,000, and you'll get some offers, man. Even if it ain't worth that, just see what you can get. Always have a number in your head. Like say you may want $175,000, but start at $300,000. That way, if somebody offers you that shit, then you done made your money back and some. You know, but usually people let them talk them down to get what they want. That's how you sell. That's the business of the game. You go high, they go low, vice versa. Seesaw, right? You know, but it says, make not the hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress. And people are provoked right now. They can't afford it. You see a lot of these Edomites that's going on Twitter, that's going on social media, YouTube, and they're complaining about how it's hard for them to make ends meet because the shit is so goddamn expensive. I mean, it's to the point, if you go to Mickey D's and you get a double quarter pounder meal, you paying $12 for that madness. You know? You paying a lot of money for that shit. And it ain't even real food. Cause you be better off going to sit down somewhere. You know, like it's a place out here, it's called Market Grill, Streetcar Grill, which is downtown, would be prophesied at. They have I think it's like Steak Thursdays or something, that you get you a nice steak with some sides for like $20. People got to find those deals. Like Buffalo Wild Wings, I believe Monday and Wednesday, I believe they have all you can eat boneless wings with fries for $19.99. Okay, which ain't nobody just gonna sit there and eat that shit all fucking day. Okay, you may be good for like 10 wings and some fries. Basically, they just got over on you. And I don't even think that they can even take it to go. But then again, you may be able. But when they start doing things like that, that means that they're getting ready to close the doors. Okay, Applebee's have done that. They're closing down. Fucking Red Lobster. When they start throwing out these bulk deals, this is when they're getting ready to close doors, man. Okay, but it says, add not more trouble to a heart that is vexed. And we are vexed. I mean, mainly you people, because you believe in this system. But we're vexed because it's still up and running. Okay, the sooner this place falls, the better. It says, and defer not to give him that is in need. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away the face from a poor man. Okay, and Esau does that. You know, he bases your payment or your credit based on your payment history or your credit score. It makes sense that if a person have poor credit, you give them a break because they can't afford the payments. But instead, if you have a hit in your credit, he taxes you more interest, man, which is usury. You know, to the point you can't afford. That's why the scriptures say that, roughly paraphrasing it, man, it says, he that by usury and unjust gain, roughly paraphrasing it, it says that he would, I think he said he would not pity the poor, something like that. I can't recall it, but it's in Proverbs. But it says, turn not thy eye from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayer should be heard of him that made him. Okay, and this also goes into you wicked Israelites, because a lot of you Israelites in these groups, man, you're very oppressive to your congregation. You church people, you know, like this guy T.D. Jakes. That nigga had like a fucking $25 million jet or some shit. And yet you got motherfuckers in your congregation poor as shit, can't make rent, can't pay the goddamn light bill, but yeah, your fat fucking bald head power bottom, okay, making all this money off you simple ass Jakes. And then you niggas that give money to the church, man, hey, you get exactly what you deserve. Lord ain't dealing with that shit, man, giving money to a bunch of extortioners. No. Okay, but it says, make not a hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress. And Esau has provoked everybody to the point the whole world is getting ready to come against this damn devil. No ifs, ands, or buts. Esau is getting ready to be hunted in the streets. But anyway, this is the book of Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. In the evil days, we're really in them already. It says, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, meaning when you get older. It says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. And the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Yeah, the optimism. Okay, America is not looking bright, so it's not looking so bright. And this is why the fate of America hangs in the balance of this next presidential selection, which regardless who gets in there, this shit's still going to be destroyed. Trump go in there, you going to war. Biden stays in there, you going to go to war. Okay, the only direction America is going to go in is destruction. And that's it. And it reads, it says, and the doors should be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. He should rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music should be brought low. Okay, so, hey, these businesses are getting ready to collapse. The economy is collapsing sooner than later. None of us are going to have jobs to work. Those so-called recession-proof jobs, that's all going to be a thing in the past in a little bit. So with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Lord's will you edify into the next lesson. Shalom.